During my engine refresh, I decided to chase down some electrical gremlins by, taking a look at the wire harnesses. So this harness is for the fuel injectors, and upon close inspection, it looks good. This section right here goes to the top of the water bridge, to the thermostats, and this plugs into the throttle body, which is currently out of the car and being cleaned. The harness that I'm going to be pulling out today is this one right here. This goes down to the starter and also the alternator, and it comes up and it ends right over here by the jump post and the 14-pin connector. Once I got the car home for the first time and took a look at the starter, I could tell that the wires needed to be redone. This yellow wire right here was attached properly, but the next one, the smaller wire, was frayed and barely hanging on. I also made a notation of where all the other wires. This is the power wire, and I just wanted to make a notation of how they are connected to the starter. This is the thick wire. The red wire goes underneath, and they both go on like that. Once I was able to get that off, then I could maneuver this a little bit better. Working under the car at this angle, laying on my back, was a little bit tough, but I was able to position the starter in such a way that I could get the other wires off. Now that this is down, this is the yellow wire. It's right over here. The big yellow wire right over here. So I'm going to go ahead and take these off now. Now that all the wires are disconnected, it's easier to then twist the starter into a position where you could get it off. Okay, got the starter off, and here's what I found. After cleaning the wires up, this is what I found. The wires are all frayed. The installation is pretty bad. I was planning on replacing the insulation, but I think I'm going to just take these out and rebuild it. After getting the harness out, I cut away the old heat shield so I could see what's going on with each of these wires. There's a tie-in right here. And then we have a set of wires going out. So this skinny little wire goes to the brown plug, and then from the brown plug we have these two wires, yellow and yellow brown, going through, making a turn right here, going around. This is the yellow and brown coming through and coming all the way through to the blue plug. If we go back to the juncture here, let's follow the red and white wire to right here. The red and white wire comes out, comes through the juncture. There it is. It comes through, goes to the black plug. There's also a brown wire. This brown wire goes to the juncture and comes out on this side. This is the brown wire. The black wire comes through, goes through the juncture right here, and comes out here. So we have these two accounted for. We have the brown accounted for. What about those? Okay, so that's the blue wire. Here we go. These two wires, they go through. Again, they come through the juncture. There they go, and they go up, come through the barrier, and then they split off. And this goes to the top of the water bridge. So we have this accounted for, this accounted for, these two accounted for, we have these two accounted for, and the rest of the wires go through the intersection and goes on. The green wire goes directly to the sensor on top of the oil pan. Two other green wires is a green and black, and there is a solid green. This is a green and blue. This is a green and blue. This is a solid green. The solid green goes to the alternator and terminates the alternator. You can see how mine is damaged. I'm gonna have to fix that. So we have this accounted for, the blue and green. This wire is the green for the alternator. Then we have the black and white. The black and white is right there. This goes over, and it is the screw-in part of the oil pressure sensor, and the blue and black wire is the slide-on part of the oil pressure sensor. So that leaves us with the thick yellow wire. That leaves us with the thick yellow wire, the yellow and black, and the red. So the yellow wire, the thick yellow wire goes through, and it terminates at the starter. The yellow and red also terminates at the starter. You can see the condition of my wire inside. And the big red wire, this wire comes from the alternator. See this right here? It's come directly from the alternator. So the main red wire comes from the jump post, straight through, goes through the intersection, goes down, 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 and it goes to the alternator. And there's a second wire that leads from the alternator, goes around, bends here, and goes out to the starter. In the next video, I will continue this rebuild.